Greetings, audience. I am Lord Cadrian de Flynn, and I am a wizard. I, Lord Cadrian de Flynn, Archmage of the Nine Stars Academy of Magic, am unfortunately doing this stint here in Wizard Jail. Apparently, they don't appreciate it when you devolve into a little experiment here and there in necromancy. So, as a result, I've had my freedoms vastly reduced, my magic crippled, and tasked to be here to answer your questions, to better the relationship between the wizard and the non-wizard, a rather common punishment for diviners who are found to be guilty of crimes. Relatively seldom, of course, we can usually see the law coming before we actually are captured, but I was rather engrossed in my studies, and here I am. At any rate, I am compelled to answer your questions. Whatever you ask, I will answer, to the best of my knowledge, which is vast, having studied many, many realms, being schooled in the principles of magic. All things are known to me: transformation, summoning, evoking, war magery, warding, and yes, a little bit of necromancy. So, give unto me your questions, and I will answer as I am compelled to do. But make it quick. I will not be here forever. One way or the other, and I'll let my jailers decide to worry or not, I will leave this place. So, make of that time what you will. Perhaps you have a burning question that you desperately need a wizard to answer. Well, while I usually charge a king's ransom in gold for the most difficult of questions, here I'm forced to give away such answers as my jailers have demanded. In a pinch, I may even go on to my peers through their magebook accounts and snatch a few questions here and there. For starters, I'll give you one to start out with. Using my mastery, I will draw up a question that was asked one of my peers, a wizard from a world that may be much like your own, a very feared wizard who held the entire world in awe at one point. Dear Lord Voldemort, do you miss your nose? Really? Do you miss your nose? Out of all the questions you could ask somebody who held the entire world hostage in fear with his magics and his followers, you missed your nose. That's what you could come with. Well, I'll tell you this much. It doesn't take a great deal of divination to understand the answer to that. I don't have to peer into his mind. Honestly, I'll tell you a secret. He doesn't miss his nose. He had a huge wart right here. It's enormous. Everyone used to call him Tom Wart-Nose Riddle. It was bad. A blemish like that. And he could never get rid of it. He tried practically blasting his nose off. As good as he was, and he was good, he could never get rid of the wart. The nurse at his schools could not get rid of the wart. Had he achieved more and more mastery and eventually hired a really good plastic surgery wizard, mayhap he might not have been so angry. But, what can you do? However, I'll tell you, he is now happier now that he has no nose. Or, I'm not going to spoil anything for you if you haven't gotten to his the conclusion of his story. But, yes, a missing nose is the least of his problems right now. And I'll throw in another, because this is a question that I have been asked numerous times. It is, can I be your apprentice? Well, currently I can't teach from inside, but I will say this. Different worlds have different rules about wizards taking on apprentices. In many worlds, a master and an apprentice are the logical way of studying magics. The master passes on enough secrets to get his apprentice over in the trade, but doesn't teach him everything. And I say him. I also mean, of course, there are lasses who are quite good at magic as well. One of my apprentices was a lass. She went on to do quite well. But oftentimes, because of the complexities of magic, because of the demands that each fresh mind brings to the approach to magic, it is difficult for a wizard to have more than one apprentice. It can be done, but generally the teaching takes longer unless your students are extremely gifted, or you're getting paid a great deal to teach them. Now, as far as tuition goes, for myself, it's fairly simple, 1,000 gold pieces a year, standard contract. Also, the parents generally pay for upkeep. My students don't starve, but they don't, grow fat and lazy. Plenty of work to be done. And quite honestly, 1,000 gold pieces a year is inconsequential next to learning the mastery over all that exists through magic. I mean, quite simply, it's barely enough, honestly, for my time, but there's plenty of work that apprentices do to help cover the costs of their tuitions. Otherwise, I would charge, if, say, one were to do nothing more than to get up from their bed, study, do a little lab work, then go eat and carouse, I'd have to charge vastly more. But a good apprentice should understand the work that goes into the role of wizard, and therefore there's a great deal of labor to be done that the master wizard can't be bothered with, and apprentices help out. It's traditional. It's been that way for ages and ages and ages. And it makes the wizard stronger. I myself, of course, went through an apprenticeship. I had to grind herbs and concoction and pulp eyeballs and squeeze heart blood and do all those things. First with my bare hands, and then eventually with the help of magic. Showing that magic is not only about throwing fireballs at goblins, it's also about saving you time and labor, allowing your mind to stick to the things that are worthy of your attention rather than having to wonder, how are you going to get firewood? A few waves of the wand. Places where magic does not work are an abomination to nature. But, yes, could you be my apprentice? Probably not. There are the barriers of realities and things like that. It would be daunting. If you could show up on my doorstep with bags of gold, then I might be able to see my way clear, teaching you a few things. If, of course, you have the mental acumen to learn magic. It's not easy learning the formulas, gestures, chants, and the various gribbly bits of spell casting that allow you to rend the universe and put it back together as your mind wishes it to be. It does take a particular mind that can peer into the ether and not go mad with possibilities. It does take a peculiar outlook on life to allow one to dedicate oneself fully to the mastery of magic. Oh, there are dabblers, certainly. But dabblers aren't going to pay thousands of gold to study under a wizard such as my noble estate. So, I'm afraid probably that is not going to happen. I could confirm that it would not happen by peering into the ether as a possibility, but wizard jail. So, unfortunately, I cannot confirm that we will never be master and apprentice. But now, as far as magical academies go, and I am the master of a magical academy, that's a little bit different. A magical academy is a school much more so than an apprenticeship teaches magic. In school, you learn not just magic. You, of course, learn the essentials, how to recognize magic, your most basic cantrips and manipulations of minor things. But also it finishes you, in a way. It makes you a complete citizen of the world. No longer will you be stuck mucking stables and such. If you graduate from my academy, at the very least you'll be a profitable tradesman. You might even be a advisor to a noble, or a gifted trade craftsman, making a good living in some, ennobled city. If you have a particular bent another way, you'll be literate, so any of the scripted trades would do for you. And of course, the academy is much less expensive than direct tutelage. Granted, your average peasant can't afford it, understandably so. But we've had many, many gifted graduates who've gone out and ruled their family estates, or become wealthy tradesmen and merchants. So we've had any number of adventurers that have graduated from the academy as well, and many of them are doing well. Some of them are brigands and such, but many of them are doing well. So I would definitely say that apprenticeship is probably not in the cards. If you can find a magic academy, though, I highly recommend it. If you have no other prospects for high wizard craft, an academy is an excellent offshoot that will still make you a better person, and probably down the road will set you apart from your peers in a very dynamic way. If you can go to the Nine Stars Academy, well, there you go. You're getting the finest of tutelage, even if the headmaster is currently in wizard jail. So, but yes, that may be possible. Find your local wizard academy if you are interested. And, of course, no necromancy. Stay away from necromancy. I suppose I'll head that one off. I'm sure that question may come up. Why necromancy? To be honest, there are places that my magical skills cannot go to. And if you don't think that as a diviner I have anything to worry about, or any concern that my magics cannot instantly solve, there are places that my magics cannot go. There are realms ruled by the dead that my type of magic cannot penetrate into their lands. So I attempted to create a divination magic that works upon the minds of the undead, which they don't have minds, they have magical... It's complicated. I'm not going to go into details, but I was attempting to study the undead, which meant I had to create a few, which is strictly off limits by the rules of the land. I suspect that I was betrayed, one who coveted my position or just wished to blacken my nose a bit. Suddenly, I was there confronting several of the Emperor's warders. I'm a diviner. I am not a war mage capable of blasting an entire team of... Well, we all have our fantasies, don't we? I went quietly, was sentenced to wizard jail, and to do this for all of the non-magical masses, so here we are. But, yes, as a announcement for those who are of the younger, impressionable type, stay away from necromancy. It's illegal, and it's bad for the soul. So, my jailers are informing me that I have answered the required number of questions and said enough for their peace, so I am Lord Cadrian de Flynn, and this was Ask the Wizard. I might say that if you are interested in asking me questions, I would heartily encourage you, my guardians would heartily encourage you to fill out comments down below with whatever questions you would have me answer. And I will be compelled to do another of these Ask the Wizards for you in the very near future. So if you've ever... So if you want the answer to your question answered by a real and professional wizard, leave your questions down below and I will get to them as soon as I can. Thank you, and may the gods of magic smile upon you. Farewell.